Hey, good morning, everyone. Yes, I should be at work, but I am not 100% feeling the greatest. Last day and a half, just upset tummy and body aching and stuff. So I'm here at home, gonna go back to bed. But I've been thinking about this video I wanted to do for the last couple days now. So obviously, you've seen we haven't done much on our page. I have a lot of video content. I just haven't done much with it. And the reasoning is it's just been too busy. So if you've been following us, we jumped up to, if you want to call it like a national regional level with our team with Corey. And Ryan Fink has jumped on board and he's been doing the same thing too. So it's been a lot of ups and downs this year. And I think we hit the low this weekend, but at the same time we hit the high and we hit the turning point. So if you don't mind, sit with me with this one and listen to this story, because it was an emotional weekend that ended on a huge positive. And of course I say this a lot, and I'll talk about that too. So last weekend we ran the AJC Midwest Championship during Labor Day weekend, Friday, Saturday. Again, a huge race in the area. Adam Johnson has brought a few big races here. Of course, we had the Max Day at Golden Spike, and then we did the Midwest Showdown Series also. So for us, it's been a lot of traveling, a lot of money, a lot of time. And a lot of learning, humbling, because it's funny because it's interesting. People on our local level, people compare like, oh my God, we're trying to be like, we're trying to get to your guys' level, the wolf level, trying to get as quick as you guys are, and especially with the no prep program and stuff like that. And then you flip that script when we're going to these big races, and we're the ones doing the chasing now. And trust me, I'm not a person like I know everything, because I can tell you I don't. This has been a huge thing this year. I thought I knew a lot, and I'm learning more on why and the reasoning why they're setting the chassis up like they are. It's just been an up and down. I've been absorbing as much information as I can. I have many hours of doing research. I have built a vast network, I guess you could say, with trusted people we race with, that have been doing this for a long time, that I can talk to and basically say, can you explain this to me? The same thing when people come to me, I also do that to others too. And then kind of pay it forward kind of thing, is because that's the only way this sport's gonna keep going. Is we can't just hold the information. Yeah, you don't want to share your fast secrets, but we all gotta kind of help and get people slightly in the ballpark, because otherwise people are just gonna get burnt out, disgruntled, and they just leave. And we don't want that, because one of the issues we have right now in our sport is keeping families in the sport past the age of 14, because there's so many different racings you can get into at the age of 14, and then of course we lose all our adult racers. So all right, that's a different rant. I'm sorry. So we started the weekend on Friday morning, supposed to head out of La Crosse at 8 o'clock. We actually didn't leave till 8:30, because one of the things we did with our trailer was we bought an electric, instead of having to hand crank it, I can't think of the name, but an electric lift on it. And we accidentally blew my fuse for my truck, because I didn't have any lights for the trailer. So we had to figure that out, where that was. And luckily I had the little mini fuses for that from 8 years ago, when we had a similar situation with my dad's vehicle down in Delaware. So we got that fixed, got on the road, got to the track. I don't know, it was 12, 15, 20 minutes after the gates opened. Waited in line for a while and got to our pit area, which is, we've been basically since Max Daddy, we kind of like going up in that area, is up by the main Oh, so I'm sorry. And this is Golden Spike we're heading to in Blue Earth, Minnesota. So got to our pit area, which is up by the nice bathrooms. It's got a shower and everything, and got on hook, got leveled out, and realized that, oh no, we're teetering on our trailer. So the wife ran over to across the way to, I think it's Bumgarner's, I think it's called Boomgarner's, but I don't know, something like that. It's like a farm and fleet. And go picked up some cheap stands so we can put them underneath the trailer to get that so it stops, because I do all the tire prepping and everything in the trailer, like most of the people do in this type of atmosphere of racing. And so we got that figured out, and then I'm like, all right, it's 3 hours to race time. We gotta get that generator fired up, get some lights going. I gotta get some stuff going on in the hot box, and the generator wouldn't work. We've had this generator for, I don't know, if I had to guess, 7 or 8 years. It's a champion generator, and my dad's been keeping up on the maintenance, changing the oil, this and that. He's been doing a good job with that, spark plugs, and just wouldn't start. And honestly, Corey and I both agreed the last few times it's just been hard to start. Well, this time it didn't start, and we, as any family, things like this happens, and we're getting a little snippy with each other and this and that, and basically Heidi goes, we need a generator, and I said yes, and my dad was adamant he was going to get this thing going, and so basically the rest of us kind of left him alone, let him do his thing with the generator, and I looked at Heidi and said, we need a generator, and she goes, let's go. So Corey and Heidi ran out and ended up buying us a bigger generator, because we've been talking about getting one this summer, is either a bigger one or a second one, because by the time you throw the lights, the hot box, basically everything we're trying to do, the generator we did not do the full work. So got a generator, got that up and running. It's now like an hour before technically practice, and then so I'm now rushing to figure out what we're going to do for tires, and you're watching the track surface, and we all got kind of idea what's going to go on with this place. I mean, really the only thing we haven't seen at Golden Spike this year is like a muddy track. Otherwise, we've had like extreme dry, breaking up, holes to a hard, compact prep groove track, because it does not lay rubber. It's a prep style groove. So we're getting that going, and Corey's running 350 and 375 clone, and Ryan's running a 375 Friday night, and so we're getting going, and we're qualifying, and I don't think we're too far off in qualifying. I think, if I remember right, Corey was like around 10th, something like that, out of 16. It wasn't like we were extremely off, but then we go out there and race, and just the cart's getting slower, and the first feature is like he just doesn't have that power. And when we ran the AJC race in Memorial Day weekend, I had a gear range. I ran honestly 1461 to 63, and I knew the motor should have pulled around 7200 RPM, 7150, 7200 with like a 1463. Should have been close to that, and not even close. I'm like just shy of 7,000. So I bumped them up a tooth. Going the opposite direction you should go when the track gets like that, getting bit up and fast, times are dropping, and I still didn't even turn it. I just barely hit 7100. So after Corey's last feature, it was like, that motor's tired, and we've never worn out a motor, like ever. We just never have run this type of racing with our equipment this year. They recommend after 10 races get it freshened, and we've gone 15 race seasons before and never worn an engine. This one's wore out. So Corey's main engine's done. We got the backup on my dad's motor on his cart, because he's going to run the prep race Saturday morning. So we made the determination after making chassis changes. The cart was also tight, so we went back. Again, it's the opposite of what we were told to do, but we went back on what we did. And Corey went out there for that last feature, and he came off. He goes, I need like one washer across. I can't feel it hit the right front enough. I'm like, okay. And we had moved weight from the right side to the left side, because again, when you got so much bite, you don't need to have the right side. You're not making mechanical grip. So yeah, so anyways, so like it's like we're bouncing on the setups, and yeah, that was kind of how we ended our Friday night. Ryan ended up getting collected in a big wreck, and he's a sore unit right now, and it busted his seat mounts. He's gonna in an 095 Scythe, and one of the things that we had to do to get room for him, because he's so tall, was we actually built custom brackets to move his seat farther back. Well, those brackets actually bent and broke. So, and then his body was a little torn up, and his bumper bar and his nerf bar. So, not the way we wanted to start our weekend. That we thought we were going to be going in pretty golden, and that's where I'm going with this, with being humbled. So, of course, we go back to the Airbnb and this and that, and I never stop. I'm like, okay, prep is this, and chassis, and so we already knew the engine was off. We already knew that going in, and now I think back, it was off for the Mid Central race. It might have possibly been off for the Max Daddy race, but basically every show Corey has run has been 2 nights of racing in one show. So Corey figures we have like 1,000 laps on it. So one thing we will now have to do for next year, depending on how our schedule goes, is make sure we keep track of this better, and just when we're close, pop that motor off, send it in. And it's expensive, and that's why it's why we have these sponsors to help with this, and sometimes it ends up coming out of our pocket for certain items. So it's if you're in this, you understand. This is not easy. So Saturday morning, I'm heading to the track, and I'm like, God, now I know why the cart's tight. Why did I put the weight there? I should have put a little more nose weight in it. Weight control, blah, 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 blah. So Corey and I are talking, and get him on the scales right away and get that done. Pull the motor off, and we'll get ready for my dad. And again, I think we all had high expectations, because Dad, and I mean, our background for the last 5 years has been no prep racing, and we had practiced him the weekend before, which the track was a weekly show at Golden Spike is nothing like a Max Daddy or AJC race. The track does not bite up as hard, so I ended up actually pretty close to like a low bite setup that I ran pretty close to like MTS, because that's similar to what the track was. I simulated him on D20 Hoosiers. With no prep on him, and of course he went out there in the Bombers, and it was, his lap times got down to basically what the Clone Heavies were running that night, and that was not the track we had. So I guess everyone has a different thought process when it comes to no prep, and like I was told the track was going to get really watered down for us, and you should be able to just do some killer slide jobs. And if you want my honest opinion, I'm not a fan of killer slide jobs. I get the concept of it, but I don't think it's actually true racing. But I know that's the theme. That's what everyone wants right now. Anyways, I'm not going to go on that one. So the track, Adam ran a great program. I think he's got a good concept. Could it be worked differently? Yeah, but again, everyone's got their different opinion. In my opinion, we were not on a true non-prep track. As far as I understand, the track didn't get tore up from the night before, and I understand why. But yeah, so, and then of course we ran in the heat of the day, so we actually laid down a rubber groove. And I unfortunately had too much right side weight. And I just didn't have enough time to move the weight over, and we ended up dropping him 2 teeth between his practice qual to his race. I moved 10 pounds over, and I should have just quickly moved as much as I could over and just ran out of time. So the only thing I guess you can get out of this is my dad now understands what chassis bind is, because that's what Corey was feeling at Max Daddy. And now he understands that feeling. I think we finished, I think there was 12 of them. I think he finished 11th, one pulled off. So, of course, it's, again, you're trying to always stay the positives. Like, Yeah, did you still have fun? Yeah. I mean, deep down, he wishes he could have done better, and I wish we could have provided better for him. So that was how we started Saturday off. So Saturday started that way, and then because of the engine change, because we had to swap engines, we actually didn't get Corey out for first round of practice. So I had rolled 2 sets of tires, and one of those tires was a brand new dogleg set. Thursday into Friday morning. So while we're working on this, of course, I'm working on tires, and I kind of grounded the top layer off of those new ones. So when we got them out there for the one and only practice session, I sent them out on scuffs, on fresh, brand new rubber that we need to scuff in. So, of course, Corey went out there, and the car wasn't too bad. Had no wipes or anything on it, just the little internal I put in it. And so we did that, and then we go out for qualifying, and during this I'm also sizing tires, I'm pre-prepping tires. I got 10 sets of tires with me, and I've done a lot of talking with people, finding out what the duro range is and this and that, and qualifying is a whole different game also, and I am mind boggled on how quick some of these guys are. I mean, they're 5 to 7 tenths faster than a race run, and that sometimes it blows my mind. It has all summer since we've started this. So I set up a set of tires. Thought, oh, this will be a great duro. I've got a good set of bite into them, and Corey goes out there and he's 1.2 seconds off the pace, and I literally walked away back to a trailer going, I don't get it. I just don't get it. So during this whole thing, we also realized we had a lot of play in our rear end and found the bearings were the issue. So we swapped bearings with a set that we had spare ones, and unfortunately had the same thing. So that was frustrating. Get them back out there for, I don't remember. This might have been Friday. It's all kind of a blur. At one point, we had basically had the whole axle apart, switching bearings, and that might have been Friday night instead. Because then we found that one of the bearings was put in backwards. So that's what it would have been. Friday was the one, so it actually moved our right rear out a little more than it should. So Saturday we caught that, flipped that bearing, and got that in. And of course that changes the setup a little bit. So yeah, so now he goes out for qualifying, and I think he qualified, what did we qualify? 16th in both 375s, if I'm not mistaken. 13th in the 350, and we end up going back up. I would say it was, okay, so we went back up a little bit on the cross. Corey added just another washer. We go out for the 350 race, and he's tight. He's tight center off. He's chassis bound. He's driving too much on the right rear. And I put a harder duro tire on, so it was like I think by the time I was done, I had them at like 52, but they've been used all year. They've been wiped with Go Peel all year, and he went out there and they were still too soft. And at that point, I was like, all right, I clearly need a fresh set of tires. And here we're gonna sidestep quick. So I had a breakdown prior to this. I basically walked up to a tree away from our area and broke down. And my wife came up to me and goes, "Why do you put so much pressure on you?" And I said, "I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm at the point I don't know what to do." And that's hard. Because when you have a national engine, a national chassis, and you're listening to all the people that have run national levels with the tire program, it comes down to were doing something wrong, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if it was chassis, and I didn't know if tires. And then on top of this, I'm guessing Corey was also second-guessing his driving. And I just emotionally broke down. And kind of went through my emotions and got myself back to the trailer. And my brother, he's a different man than me, and I envy him in so many ways. And one of the ways I envy him is how he can compartmentalize this. Still comes off the track with a positive attitude. Doesn't complain that you missed the tires, or we did this, or we did that, and he always, we're on the right path. He always tells me we're on the right path. We're close. And that was one of the things that I was expressing to everyone in our pit, was after so many times of saying we're close, we're always close, we're always 2 or 3 tenths off, it beats you down. And I was there. So basically Corey and I sat in the trailer and talked, and he goes, Wyatt, I can't feel it. But when I did have this adjustment, I could feel it. I said, okay, so we take what we learned from Waller, from Max Daddy, and we do it. So we've never been this high with cross, especially with this new Recon chassis this year for us. And I had him up there. And we had, honestly, all the left we could get to the left without building custom stuff. And actually added a little more nose to it. So we got him on the scales, set the camber, this and that. And we sent him out there for 350. Sorry, for 375. And no, at this time we were on that other set of tires, and he come off the track and he goes, Wyatt, I can feel the cart move. I like how it feels. And I said, okay, well, I think the tires are the problem. Also, I do think we're still a little chassis bound, but I believe it's due to the tires. So I said, it is time to put that fresh set on. So I took that fresh set, started wiping some bite on it because I didn't want to go aggressive with it, and we sent them out there for a 375, the regular 375. And the cart came alive. We got some speed. He gained 8 tenths from qualify, or from his first feature or something like that. It was extreme. And track was whipping at this point, and I was like, all right, and I'm watching them, and I got to thinking. So we've always run thin wall axles, and that was always the discussion I had when we ran the non-prep program. I had a good one with Justin Summerlot and Axelin, is can you use an axle as a timing device instead of using it as a bite device? Could it allow the weight to transfer faster on a no prep program? So, and we could all get mixed reactions. And it's going to unload the right rear more. So it's not going to put so much pressure on the right rear. And I told Corey after that 375, I'm like, I still feel like we can't get any more left in it. Yeah, we could put a little more cross in it, but I don't think that's the fix. I guess we could have tried it. I said, but we have a thin wall axle that we used to run on this chassis. I had switched them to a standard axle actually after Brookings because I thought, oh, that's gonna, what I've read online is that's gonna help roll over the bumps a little better. And then I also thought, you know what, everyone else is running standard axles and they're making them work. Why can't we? And we think back on it, we've been struggling honestly since we did it. And Corey and I have talked for a while about possibly switching it, and we keep saying no, we're not going to give up. And so Corey, Dad, and I debriefed on this, and of course Dad was on board right away. And Corey Corey was too. He goes, running the same tires. I said, yeah. He goes, well, that's the only thing we're changing in this equation. Let's see if it works. So the boys hunkered down. Dad went and bought some new bearings from P1 Cartworks. That was there. Threw the thin wall axle on. I got to work on the tires. And, of course, the track was starting to break up a little bit. And talking to a few people, and they were wiping a little more aggressive. And I thought, well, I'm just going to put more bite in. I'm just going to keep putting bite into it. And so I got the hot box out and started just getting more bite prep in the tires. The Duros weren't changing. And we sent Corey out for his last feature. And that was the turning point. That was the turning point right there, as we finally were at the speed of everyone else. Corey went from 16th and drove himself up to 6th. The results don't show it. He finished 11th, but he was up to 6th. The issue was the tires didn't fire off. He had a long run kart. One, didn't have enough internal bite prep in it, or two, just didn't get enough wipes on. He had like a 30-lap tire instead of a 50-lap tire. And after about 3 or 4 laps after a restart, the tires popped off finally and got some heat in them, and he could get going again. But he came off the track. He says, Wyatt, I'm not tired. This thing was amazing. And he was talking about a bump over in 3. If you hit that just right and set your kart up, you could get these massive runs. And he looked at me and he goes, turns 1 and 2, it was all tires. That was not chassis. That was not me. That was the tire work that was doing it. That was the turning point. And I don't know if Johnny Hansen heard my comment or anything, but I congratulated him on his win, because he's the person we're chasing right now. But I felt humbled and honored to finally be at his speed. We've always been 2 or 3 tenths off of him, and we finally were hitting the same lap times as him. And we didn't get that $1,000, but it felt like we did. It was a win to us. And I know I've said that before, but I truly do think this was the turning point we've been looking for. So we're all happy. We're all stoked. I'm all pumped for Corey to run the next big race for him. And my dad is actually the 206 specials at Little Buckaroo and GSR. But I'm really pumped to get back to Rice Lake with this setup, because that's a high bite track. That track gets black and hard, and I already know the prep program for that, so I'm excited just to get there and see what this setup does. But this racing's hard. It can beat you down when you put a lot of work in the garage. 2-3 hours basically every day. A few nights I'm there for almost 10 hours a day. Sacrificing some of my family time. It's nice to finally get the result from the work, because it is a lot of work, but I personally wouldn't take it any other way. So it's been an honor to race with everyone this year. We have learned a lot. We have grown so many different friendships and relationships with families. I feel honored to call them friends. All our family, be able to call them friends. And I'm excited to finish off this last month and a half, because we've got some big races coming up. And this weekend we're going down to Delaware, Iowa, taking Leona, Autumn, and my dad are going down there. So yeah, it's been humbling so far. Like I said, it can beat you down. But if you don't stop trying, you'll never know how good it can be. And that's where I feel right now. I feel good. I feel good that we're finally understanding why they do what they do. I thought I knew, but I'm learning. And like I said, I can't wait for Pumpkin. I'm looking forward to GSR, because that's a different tire, but I know how to work that tire. Again, I got a good network of people that kind of tell me what to do. that I can rely on for information, and then I can execute it. So I am sorry this video has been taking so long. If you've made it this far, thank you. But I'm sorry I haven't gotten videos out. It has been extremely busy this year. I will start getting mainly race footage out. So if you haven't been to our POV, go to Wolf Motorsports POV. I'll be posting everything on Facebook. I'm going to try to tag as many people as I can. Kind of back what I used to do like 5 years ago before the vlog really took off. And then kind of see what we're going to do for next year. Because if you've ever done it, it's a lot of work. And it's time consuming. So, but yes, I've been thinking about saying all this for the last couple of days. And I had to get it out there. So, don't ever give up, everyone. Keep trying. Build your inventory. You need the proper tools. You need the proper tires. Build your network. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If they don't want to give it to you, move on to the next person, because someone is willing to give you information. Especially people that want to see the sport survive. Like I said, with people being able to jump out of carts at an early age and put them in a stock car, it's hard to keep the adult classes going. And even as an adult, this is just fun. Corey's, what, 36? And 38. What am I at, 42? He's 36. And he's still out there having a blast. My dad is in his 60s having a blast. Tracks are getting a little too much speed, too much G-force for him, but he's still kicking. He's still doing her. And this is a great sport for ages 5 to 80. So just share the information. Keep everyone in mind that at some point you were at that level too. And don't be afraid to help. So, alright, thanks for watching. I'll be putting a Facebook post out there too about our race weekend once I get some pictures. And yeah, so I'm going to go take a snap now so I can get better. So again, thanks for watching. Love. Peace.